All right, should the SEC be involved in crypto scams? Let's talk about this for a moment because there's a lot of scams in the crypto space. And a lot of people talk about regulations in cryptocurrency and should, what those regulations should look like, et cetera, et cetera. And right now, specifically with arbitraging going on, I mean, the SEC is most likely investigating this now. In fact, it's probably been on their radar for a while. And for those who are still believing in this platform or whatever, let me just tell you something. Never in the history of mankind currently today has a platform that claimed to do trading and you could not verify anything on a blockchain. You cannot verify active daily trades. If they're doing arbitraging, they should be doing hundreds, if not thousands of daily trades, and that should be visible on a blockchain. Just listen, you got into this platform, you believed in it, it paid out for a while. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. You wanted to believe in it. You're probably still biased because you've got money in there. You see some big number on your dashboard and you just can't get it out into, you can't pull it out into dollars or Bitcoin, or you can't pull it out into Ethereum unless you pull out small amounts at a time. And that's only because they may not have all the money to pay you, or maybe they do. Here's all I know. It doesn't matter. The SEC is probably investigating this right now. Most likely, they're not a registered security. They do fall within the parameters of needing to be a registered security, I believe. So that's going to be a registered investment. That's going to be a potential issue. But let's just assume if they are doing arbitraging, and I don't think they are, the fact that you can't get your money out and you haven't been able to get your money out for weeks is the biggest red flag on the planet. There's not any freaking company in the world that would allow that to exist. You would hire people just to make certain payments got processed, or you are the most incompetent CEO with too big of a brain. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But if the SEC investigates this, and if the SEC says, yes, they are doing arbitraging and they prove it, then that's going to be huge. I mean, you got to think about it. If the SEC investigates arbitraging because it's so real and legit, like some people want to believe that it is, and the CEO who is not making any videos or communicating publicly anymore, if he's the genius that he claims to be, then let me tell you something. The entire world's about to jump into arbitraging. You're probably going to have governments of some small countries jump into this thing because it's so incredible. There's been nothing in the history of the planet that's been able to produce a daily return as high as arbitraging claims to consistently be able to produce. Or are they claiming it because you can no longer withdraw your money freely? But neither here nor there. The question is, should the SEC investigate things like this? And arbitraging, by the way, is not the only one. It's the one that gets a lot of views right now. A lot of people are talking about it. If you look on faucet sites like Moon Bitcoin, I love this faucet. There'll be a link down in the description. I think it's awesome for people who are new to crypto, want to get their first cryptocurrency. It's easy. Just sign up for a faucet, use a CryptoTab browser, and just earn your first fractions of a Bitcoin. It's super easy. Anybody should do that. But if you come over here and look, most of the ads you see running right here, casino, okay, that's fine. Brave browser, that's legit. But look over here. A regulated investment company, 6 to 9% daily. No, that's a scam, I promise you. 0.25%, quarter of a percent hourly. Nope, that's not real. That's a scam. Earn daily, 3.6%. That's a scam. Hex mining is real. This might be a scam. What's this one say? Cloud mining. Most of these cloud mining things are a scam. Cloud mining in and of itself is a real thing. But there are mining scams. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 ads, if I counted right. And of the 11 ads, 1, 2, probably 3, 4, 5. 5 appear to be, 2 of the 5 are sketchy at best, but 5 of 11, almost half the ads appear to be advertising some sort of daily investment that is unverifiable on a blockchain, meaning this isn't a masternode coin, this isn't a staking coin where you can at least verify things on a blockchain. That's not what's going on here. So the problem is there's a lot of scams in this space. I, for one, actually lean towards the SEC should not be involved in cryptocurrency. And the reason is because you need to understand where the regulation comes from. When the SEC gets involved, they're designed to protect, but you have to understand who's responsible for, who are the noble benefactors or the noble people who create and run the SEC with no outside influence. I mean, if the SEC were so great at their job, how in the world did Bernie Madoff, for years as a public figure, people say arbitraging can't be a scam because David shows his face and he's a public figure. Yep. Hashtag Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff for years was actually relatively famous, had a reputation. People knew who he was in on Wall Street. I mean, for years, some of the largest organizations in the world trusted their retirement funds with his investment company, and come to find out, it was one of the largest Ponzi schemes in the world. The SEC tends to be reactionary. They don't ever tend to do a good job stopping or preventing scams, and I don't know they'll ever be able to stop or prevent scams. It's like, how can the police prevent a murder? They can't. They react to murder. They can't prevent it. The problem is the SEC, I'm afraid that what they do in the name of protection is they end up stifling growth. They end up hurting the environment that I think cryptocurrency is designed to be. Regulated, for example, I said this in my last video about why I'm currently a Bitcoin maximalist, and I should have prefaced that with currently a Bitcoin maximalist. But the one of the things I talked about in there is how, you know, the SEC, you know, you're not allowed to, because of the rules around Wall Street and regulations, you know, the average person can't invest into an IPO. Well, what happens if one day they say, hey, the average person can't invest into an ICO? Oh, wait, they already say that. What if they say the average person can't buy a cryptocurrency? Let's face it, most of these cryptocurrencies are far more risky. Even you could argue that Bitcoin is far more risky than any IPO that goes through the regulatory efforts to get listed on, like, you know, the Dow or whatever, Wall Street companies. So what prevents the SEC from ever doing that? Now, people say they won't, they hope they won't, and maybe it will never go that far. But they already won't let you invest into an ICO. If you can't invest into an ICO, how in the world are some of these companies that aren't accepted on Main Street? I mean, who else is going to invest? There's not enough quote-unquote whales in the cryptocurrency space. There's not enough whales in the cryptocurrency space right now to fund all of these cryptocurrency projects. But there's plenty of people like myself, and maybe like you watching this video, who are excited enough with cryptocurrencies that we would be willing to invest into currencies, into ICOs, into projects. And some of them, many of them are going to fail, but some of them undoubtedly would be able to succeed. The SEC, Security Exchange Commission, you know, and other, not just them, but other regulatory agencies in the government, they're going to prevent, or they already are holding back decentralized exchanges and exchanges in general. I mean, the reason that one of the holdbacks in mass adoption right now is because they're not allowing exchanges to go through. I was actually looking at how these exchanges operate. Do you know, in the US, every exchange, including Coinbase, basically uses like one major bank, and it's some bank out in California. It's like I forget the name, it's like a regional bank. You could probably look it up. But they use one major bank right now, just one. And when I say major, it's not even a national bank. But there's one bank right now where the CEO of that bank is basically very pro-crypto. And he even says in the video that I saw, he even says that he thinks there's going to come a time where regulations won't allow them to potentially be able to do business. Meaning, right now, there's one major bank that works with cryptocurrency exchanges, have jumped through all their hurdles, done everything required so far to be able to transact in fiat to crypto, basically. So Coinbase uses this bank, Gemini probably uses them. Like all the exchanges that transact in US dollars currently go through one major bank, at least as of 6 or 8 months ago when I saw that video. Maybe that's changed, maybe it hasn't. And it's this one major bank. And so in that video that I saw, he even talked about there may come a time when the regulations wouldn't allow them to be able. Well, if that happens, all of a sudden, it almost kills cryptocurrency. Like, that's how risky this space is right now. And it's all because of regulations. Overall, I think regulations are meant to protect people, but they do more harm than good. And part of the reason they do more harm than good is because it's the average citizen that screams for protection. It's the average person that says, I lost money and it's my government's fault and the government has to protect me from losing money, or the government has to go after these people. Well, the government doesn't have resources to go after everybody. How can this exist? How can this exist? It's a known scam. How can this exist? Why can't the government shut them down? Well, because the government can't shut down everybody from robbing a dollar. They just can't. It becomes difficult. And I don't know who runs Moon Bitcoin, but the government, the U.S. government, has a lot less authority when a company's ran overseas. And when you're talking about something like cryptocurrency, it's very difficult. It's almost impossible for the government to stop an overseas company from transaction with American citizens or U.S. citizens who want to be able to transact with the platform. So my personal thought is keep the government out. You have to be able to be responsible for your own transaction. Now, I don't like these platforms. A lot of people are like, look, I see it as gambling. Let me put my money in, let me put my money out, maybe I'll make a profit. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is that they don't, this company, whoever it is, let's take a look at this website. Gem Investments Limited. This company is not portraying themselves as a gaming website. There's a profit calculator, about us, news, ways to efficiently invest money. They've got them, let's look at about us. They've got themselves set, oh, here we go. Working on Gymneon is a straightforward way to secure your future. Secure your future, yeah, right. We provide instant profits, which is a percentage of the amount you invest. Our team consists of most experienced traders with a great deal of knowledge. Okay, so they're presenting themselves a beta launch, a public launch, GMN token launch. Okay, they're presenting instant payments, whatever. They're presenting themselves as an investment company. Oh my goodness, and there's an affiliate program. Okay, so they're presenting themselves as an investment company that's going to secure your future. This isn't a game. This isn't gaming. This isn't gambling. It's a scam that's designed to look like a game. Doge to US. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's just a price table. So it's a scam. So I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't care if you choose to invest in it and you see that it's a, hey, you know, look, well, that's just a risk. I get it. Oh, look, there's another one. Let's refresh the page, see what else comes up. Wow, 1, 2, 3, heavy. Clearly people are signing up for that, for there to be that many. Clearly, my goodness. Mining, 2,400% after 120 days. That's not mining. That's not even possible. 3 Bitcoin in 24 hours. Yep, scam. Not a scam. Everybody should have a Ledger Nano. What's this? Oh, that's just a link to a Bitcoin video. Okay, so 1, 2, and again 3 ads on this Gymneon or whatever. So I don't have a problem with people putting their money in if they know that, you know, it's a risk and whatever. That's fine. But unfortunately, when you have depending on the platform, such as arbitraging. I mean, arbitraging, they ran all the way with it. Oh, we're legit, blah, 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 blah. You know, we got a CEO who is literally a genius. They actually presented him as a genius. A patent number, nobody could even show one patent number. One YouTube time is crypto offered, hey, show me a patent on your exchange. Show me any patent number, patent application. He offered $10,000 if they would show him. That should be an easy $10,000, and it would be phenomenal to show that to the community. But nope, no one's ever shown it. So my thought is, no, the SEC should not be in crypto. There is nothing good's going to come from, in my opinion, regulation in crypto. I think it's going to stifle mass adoption long term, and I don't think there's ever going to be regulation that says yes, the U.S. dollar wants a competing currency. That is never going to happen. In my personal opinion, that will never happen. It is never. There are other currencies. Do you understand? It's illegal to try to use gold as a currency right now. It's illegal. You can't do that. It's illegal to try to use silver as a currency right now. It's illegal. You cannot do that. You can't have a business and say, hey, we accept silver and gold as payment. You cannot do that. That is illegal. Just like you cannot. You can, and I mean when I say as payment. I mean, like as gold and silver can't. Let me be careful how I say that because there's some company somewhere doing that. But it cannot be seen as any form of currency, official currency. I mean, even bartering has regulations in certain parts of the U.S. And you don't know that if you've never looked at it. If you've always walked down this wall of, life as usual, and you've never you've never noticed, you've never done research, you've never had a reason to do research, just look up the Liberty Dollar. Liberty Dollar is someone who Googled Liberty Dollar. That is a gentleman who tried to create basically a currency that was not that the government could not manipulate or could not create more of it. And he wanted people to be able to have a stable currency where it would maintain its purchasing power, et cetera, et cetera. So he created the Liberty Dollar. And look at what happened to him with the U.S. government. So I don't think that the government is ever going to directly allow. They may be forced to by the people eventually, but that's going to be to a point of near financial revolution. We are so far from that, I believe, currently in the U.S. But I think the way that we get there, people are like, when's mass adoption going to happen? When's mass adoption going to happen? I don't think true mass adoption ever happens as long as we need government approval. I think mass adoption will eventually happen if our debt starts to put us in any sort of financial peril. And I believe that day will come one day in the future. Someone explained it best to me. They said the world has an uncanny way of never ending. But what's going to ultimately happen is the house of cards will start collapsing. And when it starts collapsing, there's not going to be a lot of warning. It's just going to happen relatively fast. And I don't know if relatively fast is days, weeks, or years. But it's going to happen relatively fast. And I do believe that if you've seen any of my last video, for example, where I talked about the debt, I mentioned the debt that we're in and things like that, and why I think a blockchain currency is important, then you kind of understand why I don't think that regulation is a good idea. I want to say this. Someone said, and now I'm going to talk to you in a minute about why the one thing that makes me feel like maybe government should get involved. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Because I can see both sides of this coin. I'm about 80% government not involved, or at least not involved in actual cryptocurrency. Now, someone said to me, I think it was in Discord or in comments, someone said, yeah, but arbitraging is not an actual cryptocurrency. And that's true if you look at the use cases for arbitraging and that sort of thing. I mean, it's just there's nothing going on in that blockchain that shows arbitraging taking place. Nothing. There's just a lot of movements and a lot of suspicious movements of other people's Ethereum going to other people's accounts and wallets. So arguably, I get that. This isn't a real cryptocurrency thing. But see, neither is this either, right? Neither is this either. And I don't think this should exist in the way that it does. But can the government do an effective job at stopping it? No, but they can create... Here's what they'll do. They'll create regulations that won't stop the Gem Neons, because these idiots will always continue. But it will stop good companies from making good development because they don't want to get caught up in government regulations. That's what will happen. And so I think from that angle, it's bad. Someone said, and I like this person, so I don't want to say their name, but someone said in the comments on a YouTube channel, he said we have to be good at policing ourselves. And I agree somewhat with that. And he said we have to show the regulators that we do a good job of policing ourselves. The regulators don't give two craps about how good we are at policing ourselves. The regulators that's not how regulations work. They've never have worked that way. Regulators don't say, oh, is the crypto community good at policing themselves? Oh yeah, they're really good at policing themselves. Let's not put any additional regulations there. That's not how that works. I mean, there are self-interest that guide and lobby and encourage, direct and advise every formation, every direction of every governmental regulatory body. And it's not typically, what a niche community believes about themselves. Meaning they don't care what the actual cryptocurrency community does or doesn't do. What they're going to care about is how many complaints are created. And all of these organizations are complaint driven. People someone said in the comments, don't you think arbitraging would have been shut down by the SEC by now? No. Arbitraging is not going to get shut down until the SEC starts getting complaints. And I can tell you, since people haven't been getting paid since Christmas, about a month, the SEC's got complaints. No question about it. In fact, this is when the SEC should get involved. When people's money has gotten stolen, yeah, I can't say nothing should happen, but risk or risk, and we have to know that going into it. But when it gets personal, right here, they mess with the wrong person. Revolution in crypto, I mean, this guy, he is going to single-handedly take arbitraging He used to be in arbitrage. He was I didn't really know who he was, but evidently he was in arbitraging, and he made videos talking about it. But when he couldn't get money out, and then he brought people into the platform, they couldn't get money out, he could become frustrated. And ultimately, he started looking around at more and more. He had more questions than answers. And then the arbitraging idiots, I mean, oh my god, the community, like some of the community, I'm not going to say the name, specifically a particular YouTuber, went and dug up this guy's past. And it is ridiculous. I mean, they pulled skeletons out of his closet that whether he's proud of it or not proud of it doesn't matter. But it was his business, his prerogative. He hadn't pulled it out. And they went and made a video talking about his past, trying to, like, quote unquote, take him down. Supposedly have sent him death threats and everything else. Yes, the FBI should get involved with that. When it comes to protecting citizens and their well-beings, yes, the government should be involved in that. Absolutely, absolutely. But it becomes a gray zone when you start asking for government regulations in cryptocurrency. I think some people don't realize what you're asking for. And I know regulations are coming. I know they're not going to ultimately be friendly to cryptocurrency. I think there'll be more harm than good. Long term, I don't think it matters, because I think ultimately we will have some sort of cryptocurrency revolution one day. I mean, I think we're in the early stages of the cryptocurrency revolution now, and that's just people becoming more aware and learning about it and understanding it and recognizing the problems that our government has. And unless there's a mass movement, which I don't see it happening, for our government to stop spending and cut everything from how much money is being spent on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, education, like so much money is getting spent on that we're going into debt at $45,000 per second, $3.8 billion a day. We're going deeper into debt. And that number keeps getting bigger, faster, like it's starting to compound on itself. It's really crazy, and it's compounding in the wrong direction. So I do believe that sooner or later Bitcoin, some sort of blockchain currency, at today most likely Bitcoin, is going to be the main currency without question. But that's still a ways off, and people are like, oh, I can't stand these YouTubers, and it's mostly some of the bigger mainstream YouTubers that are like, oh yeah, we're getting an ETF that's going to be so awesome. It's not awesome. I don't see any benefit to just, if mass adoption just means more people can buy and sell from an investment standpoint. In fact, I think that's just going to create arguably a lot more volatility in the market, which means less people are going to want to use it as an actual currency. I think that we've got to have a little more stability, more people learning about it, more people holding it, more people believing in it, more people understanding it, and over time, and then continue to get into debt. And if our economic house is never put into order, or it doesn't even have to be the U.S. economic house, it could be other countries around the world start deciding they want to hold more cryptocurrency. That's already happened with smaller countries. I believe even if that happens, I believe that there's a point in time where U.S. government, European governments can start saying, maybe we should start buying up some of this cryptocurrency, some of this Bitcoin, some of this Ethereum, just in case. I think that would be very interesting, because it would also start to add stability to the market. And if there ever comes a time where the average U.S. citizen loses faith in the dollar, then I believe that the only alternative is to either for the U.S. government to create a cryptocurrency, which I think they would do, and we're talking about some point way in the future. They would have to peg it to either gold, or they would have to peg it to another blockchain currency that is decentralized, I believe, such as pegging it to Bitcoin or gold, or pegging it to silver. They would have to do something. They would most likely not start out adopting actual Bitcoin itself, I don't believe. But they might buy up Bitcoin just to secure their own cryptocurrency future holdings, just because if other countries are buying it. So I don't know if that's making sense to you or not. If you have any questions, you can definitely put it down in the comments below. As a general rule, I think SEC and the government needs to stay out of cryptocurrency. Are they going to stay out of cryptocurrency? Absolutely not. They are going to be here. They are coming, especially because stuff like arbitraging is taking place. And this gentleman here, I mean, my goodness. Dan, if you're seeing my video, you are the man. They messed with the wrong person. He's going to the SEC. And I guess I don't blame him. I mean, I probably would be resistant, but the moment you threaten me or my life, F you. I would take you to the bank. And to the gentleman, let me just go on record as saying this. And I'm one of these people that like to go along to get along whenever I can. But to the gentleman who was so despicable to put this man's private business out there, digging up skeletons from his past when he was probably in his 20s. That was one of the most destructive, despicable things any one person could do. You have to be such a pathetic human being to be able to do that to someone. I mean, you talk about selling your soul to the devil and the stuff he put out about this man, I'm not going to talk about it, but it was just so horrible. You would not do that. No sane person who had any empathy for a human being would do that. You just wouldn't do it. You've got to be messed up in the head to do what he did. And it was just horrible. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I actually unsubscribed from that gentleman's channel. I do not click on his videos when they show up in my news feed. I don't even want the sound of his voice to utter near my ears. Like, it is just ridiculous. So enough about that. By the way, I was going to talk about, I started this video and Truce was over here doing a live stream earlier. Come check out Truce's channel. I mean, this guy does some funny stuff. I'm promoting his channel. I talk about his channel because more people need to know about it. And Truce, he did a video at the beginning of the year. I saw it and I almost reached out to him. So if he was watching this video, Truce, take it for what it is. Hopefully you'll hear me on this. He was talking about his channel, how much work he's put into his channel, and he hasn't seen it grow a whole lot. Well, there's a lot of reasons why, but just some very basic stuff on his channel. And if you're building a YouTube channel, a couple of things you need to know. First of all, Truce, you got to fix your metadata. I actually went to YouTube and I actually searched Truce right up here. And I don't want to do it now because I want to show you something on the screen. But I searched Truce, just searched Truce. Your channel did not even come up. And I'm like, man, wow, his channel doesn't even come up when you search his name. So then I searched Truce Crypto and it did finally come up. Truce has some of the funniest videos on the cryptocurrency space. He does all these skits. They're just hilarious. You got to come check his channel out. The other thing is, Truce, your metadata. You gotta fix your tags. You gotta come up with stuff that the number one reason in tags, people don't know about this. The number one reason that tags exist are not because that's what people search and that's how people think you create YouTube tags because that's how people find you when they search. No, all your tags do is tell the YouTube algorithm what your channel's about. So you need to create relevant tags, and supposedly your most popular tags or the tag that is most telling of your channel should go towards the top. Like if you look at search ranking, I don't think you don't even rank for crypto comedy. First of all, I would probably be using that tag, or Bitcoin comedy or Ethereum comedy. You definitely want to rank for that tag eventually. And just so you know, TubeBuddy is what I'm using, and it will tell you eventually if you rank for a tag. But just putting the tag doesn't make you rank. If you want, you should put crypto. I know today you were asking people what to call your thing, your series, and they were calling it Crypto Chronicles. Then that would need to be a tag, and ultimately you would brand Crypto Chronicles. But you would want to put Crypto Chronicles in every headline. You also want to put Crypto Chronicles in your descriptions. Your description doesn't do anything. If you want to rank, and when you have a small channel, your whole goal is to rank for certain keywords. So you want to start using those keywords in a description, 1 or 2 or 3 sentences. Make sure the keywords are in those sentences. Don't make it spammy like Crypto Chronicle. Here, look, here's another one. If you were to do Bitcoin, Bitcoin scam, that your channel might rank maybe for that, but it would come a lot closer to ranking for Ethereum hard fork. Your channel might rank for that, I'm not sure. But eventually it will. As your channel grows, some of these videos will rank. Ethereum hard fork, then if you want to try to rank for that keyword, then I would make sure you put Ethereum hard fork in your description, leaked info. And then this happens. And that's hilarious because people who are looking for something serious are going to come across this, they're going to watch it, and some of them are going to laugh their butt off, and then they're going to subscribe to your channel. TubeBuddy can help you pick keywords and tags that you might be able to rank for. I'll put a link in the description. Truce, check it out. You don't have to use TubeBuddy. You can just, TubeBuddy gives you all this info over here. Like best practices, you don't have an end screen, buddy, it's easy to put an end screen on. At least, I don't know how easy it is. TubeBuddy makes it easy to use create an end screen. They make it easy to create thumbnails. Don't look at my thumbnails for that example because I just do super fast thumbnails. But info cards in your channel, end screen added, all that stuff kind of helps the algorithm a little bit recognize your channel. Just food for thought. And I mean, if we were to talk directly at some point, maybe in Discord or something, if you want, you didn't ask for this advice, but I love your channel, want to see it grow. Come over here, check out Truce's channel, ladies and gentlemen. Watch his videos. They're awesome. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification icon. We need more of this kind of stuff in the cryptocurrency space. The guy's an original for sure. That's it today. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the SEC is good or bad long-term for cryptocurrency? Put it down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. With that being said, when people get threatened, the FBI needs to get involved. Whoever needs to get involved. That's different. But just in the cryptocurrency space, I'm mixed. 80%, 90%. I'm like, yep, we don't need regulations in cryptocurrency. I like the fact that it's not regulated, because if they get involved, let me just say this: if the SEC gets involved, they could ultimately say that smart contracts aren't allowed. They've already come against decentralized exchanges. They could say that all of these things that are fair, that aren't actual securities. But the fact that they allow creation of a token that has a value, people are like, I don't even want to go there. People are like, they just need to accept the fact that Bitcoin's a currency. First off, the government, not the SEC alone, but if the government in general calls cryptocurrency a currency, that's a whole nother set of problems. If they call it an asset, that has a different set of problems. I just wish they would stay out of it, let development happen, at least stay out of it for a few more years, let more development happen, because I think this space is so infantile, and where it's going to go in the future, I think is going to be extraordinary. The question is, are regulations ultimately going to hamper that somewhat? I think it will. That's just my opinion. Let me know your opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button, give me that bell notification icon, and give me a thumbs up if you like this channel. And I apologize if you're in arbitraging. I apologize on behalf of the cryptocurrency community if that is your introduction to this space. But just know that just buying and holding Bitcoin and Ethereum is not the same as getting an investment platform. If you're buying a real blockchain currency and you hold that currency in your own wallet, your own Nano S, Nano X, whatever, Trezor, you're holding it in your own wallet, then you don't have to worry about some platform stealing it from you. Just know that. Welcome to cryptocurrency if this was your introduction to cryptocurrency, but just know this is a poor representation of what cryptocurrency is. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day.